let's talk about the basis for today's title, and that is something that we want to get Jay's opinions on as well too.
Yeah,
And that's what I
like
mentioned earlier. If you've given if you've denied so many rides, and like you said, you got the 510 stipulation, and that's a stipulation that's in California for several markets, except for I think like 5 at this point where they have full upfront earnings, and the majority of the rest of the country is full upfront earnings, meaning you can go online. I could go online right now and just have my phone online, sit here, do the entire show, not accept one ride, and no issues are going to happen. But we are starting to see something where they are trying to fight that. So, Sergio, do you want to go over the screenshot from the email that we got, or do you want to go into the video first?
Just play the video. I think we showed that last week anyway. So let's see what Jay's opinion is going to be of this. If they did this tomorrow in Sacramento, let's see if he's going to like that.
Okay, so this is basically a video where he turns the app on. I have it muted only because there's like really bad sound to it on top of it, so it's not just the app.
This is in Arizona. This is in Arizona. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you said, one ride came in. Here's the second ride that comes in. He doesn't take it, and give it a moment.
And just pause for 1 second. Just pause for 1 second.
That's the ride I would take right there.
Right, but the 3 trips that he declined were horrible trips. They were like maybe 70 cents a mile or less. This one, you may take it. I probably wouldn't. 20 minutes for $10, you probably would. It also has a 275 surge in it, Jay. So the trip is actually worth like $7. But that's not the issue. The issue is now you guys are going to see what the Uber app is going to tell this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, hold it for a second.
Oh.
All right. So, Jay, the Uber app now, okay, we all had our suspicions for years and years, right? I've written about it. I've even discussed it with you in comment section of some of your articles. Do you believe Uber throttles you, like slow your request down when you're about to finish a quest and things like that? Do you think that exists in your world? Do you feel it? Like it'll be like trip after trip, and then like right before you finish a quest, you have 5 to go, and it'll be just quiet.
Yeah. Sometimes it does feel like
you can't prove
they
it.
know.
It's a feeling. I know. I get you. It's a feeling. It's you can't prove it, but I've always felt like they do throttle you. They slow you down, or they'll send you to Timbuktu, where there is no more demand, where they're sending you and things like that. Okay, but it's not proof. Now,
okay, go ahead.
Now Uber is saying this, right? It says, it looks like basically the gist of it is it says it looks like you're not accepting trips from your preferences, meaning Uber X trips. Now, for the next 15 minutes, we're going to send you to Trip Radar Heaven or Trip Radar Lounge, where all trips go to die, as far as I'm concerned, because they're all the rejects from everybody else in the planet. And they're saying, well, you have 2 choices. You can wait your 15 minutes, and we'll start sending you Uber X trips again, requests again, or you'll just go to Trip Radar and watch Trip Radar for a while. And if there is something to your liking there, some of the trash that we put there, you'll just accept that, and then we'll get you back on the program again. Now, if this is not treating me like an employee, I don't know what the F is, okay?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, right? So now this guy's shut down. He's not going to get any requests. All he's going to do is like all the Trip Radar requests now he's getting, right? So Uber up top,
look at the top right there.
Circle, Uber up top in the blue circle is saying, complete a trip out of Trip Radar will get you out of jail. It's like get out of jail free card. This is the one. You have to do one of these garbage trips. And look at these trips in here, right? Look at the second one. Second one is $21 with a 525 surge, 10-mile pickup, 22 miles to destination. What kind of garbage is that, right? But now you're in timeout. You're like, you're like in elementary school. Go to the corner and stand on one leg. I'm like, what the F is going on in this world, man? So Dave, what do you think about this?
Well, it's just another rule so as a driver, I would respond to this by, first being upset and then trying to figure out how I got here and what I need to get out of here, because my ultimate goal is to make money for the day. And and realize now that that's part of the game. So I can't turn down too many rides in a row, or this is what happens. So it's just more of the same, really. It's just more training drivers to do what they want us to do, which is accept a larger percentage of the rides.
Right. But do you see now why people get pissed off, though? Do you understand?
Oh
now?
yeah, no, that would be really, really irritating for sure.
Now the other thing that you guys can do is this, okay? As a veteran, I'm giving you guys the trick of this, if there is a trick. Once you decline 2 in a row, swipe up, force close your app, okay? And then come back and let's see if it gives you another 3 shots or 1 more decline, and they'll send you to automatic. I haven't tried it personally because I don't have this, but in Arizona, if you guys are in Arizona, this has 2 other states have this. You know, force close your app. Don't give him the chance to send you to Trip Radar Lounge, because that's garbage over there, complete garbage. There's nothing but garbage there. And then, or the other thing is say F Uber, turn the app off, go to Lyft. That's why we always recommend multi-apping. I mean, hey, you know.
Yes.
Now,
yes,
I know why they're doing this. They're doing this because I'm telling you, the CPU members, you know, Cherry Pickers United, is absolutely effing up with their algos, because decline, and the passenger wait times are going through the roof, and then they're saying, screw this. But Uber did not think of this very well, to me, anyway. So if you're eliminating your own drivers 15 minutes at a time and you're not going to send the cherry pickers any trips, now you must be counting, Uber, that you have enough ants out there that are going to accept all the garbage you're sending their way. And that's why you're doing this. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know, you know.
But they're not. They're not. The reason why they would be putting this in place is because there's more cherry pickers today, and they're thinking that they're going to either retrain drivers to make sure that they accept 1 in 3, or other drivers are just going to say, you know what, screw it. Put me in timeout. I don't care. We'll see what pops up in Trip Radar. I have Doordash. I have Uber Eats. I have, you know, whatever
Lyft.
other app is out there, Lyft. You know, I have all of these different apps that I can go on. This right here is going to be one of the dumbest things that Uber could ever do. And you know what? I welcome them to do it, because here's the thing. If you cherry pickers stay strong out there and don't fall for this crap, what's going to end up happening is they're going to have so many drivers offline, because they're going to not accept 3 rides, that wait times are going to get longer, that people are going to start complaining, and they're going to have the drivers that are on the platform, but they're not giving them rides because this. So something's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a feeling Uber is going to lose this one. This is something where I can say I have a feeling, and I really think that's the case. So if you continue cherry picking and you have this in your market, go for it. Do what you got to do, and then tell them, hey, buzz off. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue doing what I'm going to do. You send me crap offers, I'm not going to accept it. You can see there may be something in Trip Radar that might pop up. There may not. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it's going to start tying up drivers, that they're going to put them in timeout so much that it's going to have a negative effect overall, because the problem is you have so many cherry pickers at the moment that they have to resort to something like this to try to get people to accept again. The problem is you're pricing rides wrong. It comes down to the basic fundamental thing that DK had said originally, that if they're pricing rides wrong, it's on them, not us as drivers, but on them. They're doing it wrong. It's their fault. And in fact,
what they love, but what they don't like are the strings attached. So I'm curious, why are those strings attached in place? Why are they in place? And then is there anything Uber can potentially do to mitigate that in the future?
So I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that.
come on.
Spit it out,
The
Dark.
string attached, you get to see destination.
Sure, hold on.
You know, so for example, the string attached, you get to see destination, assuming that you accept a certain percentage of your trips. If we're doing a really good job pricing, and essentially like we price the trip right, your acceptance rates will naturally be.
Oh, come on.
And by the way, if it's not, we're getting pricing wrong. That's our fault. It's not your fault. So
right there.
I'm hoping that the new construct allows us to take some of those kind of conditions off. That's the ultimate. So again, we're, you know, the information balance.
You know,
so right there, they're saying that the conditions are off, or they want to take the conditions off. But in this case, they're putting a condition on because people are saying, hey, this ride is not worth it. I'm not going to take this ride because it's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my gas. It's not worth the expense. I know my costs associated because I did the math already. And I need to make a certain amount, not just to cover my expenses, but I also want to make something on top of that, because if I'm getting paid to do something, I want to make sure I can either enjoy, pay bills, whatever I got to do in order to do that. But that's the whole thing. You just said it right there, DK. We got that. We got it from the interview. It says, if you are pricing rides wrong, it's on you, Uber. It's not on us drivers. We should not be seeing something like this that you're putting on there that says, oh, it looks like you're not accepting the trips that we're offering you. Well, because they're bullshit trips. You want to actually increase tip, or I'm sorry, not increase tip, but increase the fare. I want to have 100% acceptance rate. I've said it before. I'd love to have an 100 acceptance rate. But the problem is, if you don't offer the right ride, if you don't offer the right price, I'm not accepting it. And I don't give a shit if you put that 3 ride strike on in my app at all. I don't really care. I'll continue on doing what I'm doing. I'll even go to Lyft. You want that to happen? By all means, go for it.
Well, but Jay, so now you understand the ire of the crowd that they get, right? So what they're doing with the new Quest, what they're doing is they want you to do longer trips. There's always this game that we're playing. This is such an easy game. We're picking up point A, dropping off point B. This is not fucking rocket science, people. Okay? So all the people at Uber, 33,000 of you who constantly write this code, it's that right there. This is what it's called right here. That's Uber Lube right there. I'm like, you can knock me all out, bro. You can knock me after 3 trips, right? Do you think I give a rat's ass if you knock me off after 3 trips? I'll go to Doordash, because you know what? This is something you could have done 10 years ago when it was only Uber and Lyft maybe in town. I have like 9 apps on my phone. Do you think I give a rat's ass if you knock me off for 15 minutes? No. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do now. But all these games that they're being played, right? That's why people hate these companies. The perception of the companies is like not good. Now, no problem. I get you. And when the CEO says, if you're not accepting trips, it's on us because we're not pricing them correctly, it's on our channel. I don't know what else to say. What do you think the acceptance rates are in Seattle, Jeff? I mean, Jay, what do you think the acceptance rate are?
I have no idea.
93%. 93% on average.
9 out of 10. That's high. Yeah.
You know why? Do you know why?
Because the rides pay well.
$1.50 a mile and 65 cents a minute.
Oh,
I would take every single trip at $1.50 a mile. I would 65 cents a minute.
100%. That you want to get me at 100%? That's those rates right there. I'd be happy with that.
I wonder if there are drivers I wonder if there are drivers who are moving there just to work there.
You could. You could.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. That'd be a good article for you.
Hold on. Jeff said if Uber lowered their fares,
an idea.
Your take rate was now 80%. Would I be happy? No, I don't care what Uber take. Honestly, I don't care what Uber takes. I care what I make.
Yeah.
I care what I make. I want to see a certain dollar per mile plus a little bit more on top of that in order to make it. And that's total miles. That's including, from where I'm at to pick up to drop off. That's what I want to see when I am looking and checking for rides. I don't care what they take. Honestly, they could charge the passenger, let's say I'm going a mile down the road. They could charge the passenger $100. If I'm getting, $15 to go for a mile, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I wouldn't like the fact that they're charging $100 and I'm only getting 15, but in the real, analytics of everything, I look at what I'm getting. And for the 10 seconds that I get to look at the screen and see if that's ride potentially worth it or not, that's what I got to base my decisions on, not what, that passenger actually paid for that ride.
Yep. It is maddening with Uber how you're driving and you got a passenger in your car, and I use Waze, so I got my Waze going, and then I hear this slight little sound, and it's the sound of the notification. And I got to, within about 2.5 seconds, touch it, read the numbers, decide if it's a ride I want, and either accept it or let it go. And at least 1 out of 6 times, by the time I go to get it, it's gone, or I don't even hear it because I'm talking to the passenger and I miss the ride completely.
Yeah.
It's a feature with Uber that Lyft has the auto accept, which I
Yeah.
absolutely adore, and that's why I prefer Lyft in most cases. But
Wow.
it is funny how we're all doing this math in our head, like
Well, you know what? All these complainers, Jay, you know,
Rain Man.
all these complainers, man, if there is one thing Uber is doing for you guys, it's getting you better at math. At least PEMDAS, or, you know, simple division and multiplication, you know, subtraction.
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, here's
Or,
some, see, there's
or if
some
you got an
in it.
Android, you download the Mac, you download Gary's app, and it gives you that spit out right on the screen.
You betcha.
You don't even have to do math. You just look at it and say, good, nope, bad, all right, deny.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. That's the maddening thing that you know, people go, oh, Uber takes 60%. Uber takes that. Yes, on like 4 trips out of 100, yeah, they take 50, 60, 70%. You know, I encourage everybody to go to their weekly. It's just not so simple. Go to the website. Weekly take rates are there. If you don't believe the weekly take rate, go look at your 1099 at the end of the year. It's right there. The whole picture is there. Now, if everybody's going to say they're cooking the books and all those are fake as well, then I don't know what else to say. I don't have a comeback to that. But I know for a fact,
I mean, if they were cooking the books, we would probably know, because the IRS is going to audit the hell out of them.
Yeah.
So
I don't
they
know,
would
man.
probably
You know,
be finding some irregularities.
So, Jay, if this happens tomorrow in Sacramento, what would you do? You'd be pissed.
Yeah, I would probably drive more for Lyft. Well, you know, I'd feel it out. I would see what I'm getting offered, and, you know, take the rides. And if I did get put into that situation where I had to accept a radar ride, I guess I'd have to see what kind of offerings I was getting there. You know what
I would. You know what? This is what I would do in retaliation to Uber putting me into timeout. I would just put my app on, even when I don't want to drive. I would just turn it on, let the rides come in, and if they're not accepting, then all it's going to do is it's just going to jam up their systems, and I'm going to feel like I did my part to help jam up the systems, and hopefully some riders are going to get pissed off because they're going to be cycled around when these ride requests are coming in.
But why should it come to this, man? Just pay a decent wage, pay the drivers, you know, okay, forget Seattle rates, pay the drivers something decent. Forget this shenanigans with the upfront fares, because I know, you know, they're shaving at least 2 to 4 minutes on each trip. 60 minutes I'm working for this for free. Just this is simple, man. Point A to point B. Why does this have to be made so complicated with all these things? And I'll time you out and send you to trip radar heaven, or if you don't do this, I'll do this to you. If you don't do this, if you do this, I'll give you the carrot. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, nobody's winning this war. I mean, nobody's winning. So I'm like, I don't even know.
It just make it simple. The simpler, the better, the easier, and everybody goes home happier. Don't have all this craziness going on. You know, do something that's going to make people happy, where they're going to accept 90-95% of rides. The only time they may miss it is if a ride comes in, they don't realize it. Something like that. Just take the steps. It's not that hard. I mean, Seattle and Washington prove that. I don't understand everything else. It's like a game. It's like their game is, how can we screw the passenger and the driver at the same time? Yeah. That's their game. I think that's their real. I think that's their true business.
But that's every business in America's game, is how can they squeeze as much profit out of their business as possible? I mean, they're beholden to stockholders. That's capitalism. So, you know, what we call screwing us is doing business. You know, Uber wants to become profitable.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. The corporate system in America is built on profits, which is, you know, profits are mother's milk of every corporation. However, in this case, Jay, you know, when you don't own the car, when you don't own any assets, you expect somebody to wear out their backs and their car for you. On the other side, you have the passenger whose rates have gone up 30 to 60% in the US over the since 2019, actually. And you're not passing that on to the driver as well. This is where you get the hate, right? So if you're an agent, act like an agent, which in their terms of service, it clearly says that the passenger is our customer. We are Uber's customer, okay, for them to allow us to use the app, the platform. So in that sense, since I cannot call the price, you know, put the price of the ride out, so you're basically like, you want to have the cake and eat it too at every second of every day around the globe. Well, that's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You can put these little timeout things. Drivers will figure out a way around it, or they'll abandon your platform and go to Lyft like you will. I will. I'm not going to. If they do this in LA, there's not a goddamn chance I'm turning my app on. It's just not going to happen. However, when they do all these things for a simple thing as picking up point A, dropping off point B, I think it's just overkill. I get the corporate culture. I get that trying to make money. Great, fine. I accept all that. However, this much gamesmanship is just way too much for a simple business that it should be. It's a cab business with an app, man. Let's go. Come on. So,
all right. Well, before we get out of here,
I do think we are way. This is a lot of inside baseball. I mean, I do think the majority of drivers just accept rides and just do exactly what Uber expects drivers to do. We have a lot of knowledge here, so we tend to get more upset by it because we understand what's going on.
I mean, honestly, if they're putting a timeout feature in, I think there's more drivers that may not necessarily be watching or aware that are accepting less rides because of that. And I think that's part of the reason why they're trying to resort to something like that.
Yeah, I agree with Chris on this 100%.
Markets.
Yeah, I agree with your partner on this 100%, because the people are seeing the destination now that they didn't see before. They're learning how to do some quick math, in that 8 seconds, or they're using some other apps to figure out if this is a profitable trip. We preach constantly, know your cost per mile. Once you know cost per mile, if your cost per mile is 25 cents, take a fucking trip that's 50 cents a mile. You're profitable, right? To me, people are figuring this out and going like, this is garbage, this is garbage, this is garbage. Oh, this one is good. I'm going to take it because it fits my parameters. It may not fit Jay's parameters or Chris's, but it fits mine, and I'm going to take this trip. You want to call me an ant, you want to call me a cherry picker, you want to call me whatever you want to call me. However, when people are figuring this out and declining trips, that means there is something structurally wrong with your pricing systems. It's just not working. These prices are not good. You need to either adjust or resort to bullshit, strong arm tactics that you're doing with, let me lock you out for 15 minutes. Let me send you to, trip radar heaven. I'm like, bro, we don't need any of this stuff. We're smarter than that, Uber. We don't need any of this. And drivers are smarter than that. Granted, you have a majority that's accepting every trip on auto accept probably, and then, go on their merry way because they made their $100 for the day. We just want to improve people's lives a little bit more. That's all we're trying to do. And, I think to me is like, at some point these games, what I'm afraid of, Jay, honestly, that I'm afraid of that 2 months from now, the Department of Labor is going to come down and say, you know what, all you assholes, all of you are employees of these companies now. And they have the power to do it. And it's coming. I'm not telling you, because these companies keep doing this shit and they hear, local legislatures are working on it. 8 states that I know of on a state basis, they're working on it. The pushback is here. These companies better be careful because federal law supersedes everything. If the Department of Labor tomorrow has the power to say, all you Uber drivers, all your DoorDashers, all your Lyfters, you're all employees of these companies now, then we're all dead because they're not going to pick everybody. You can't have 6 million employees overnight. They'll go bankrupt tomorrow. So then the game is going to be out of control. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So people, we definitely don't want that.
Definitely don't.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.